I really hope that shows up in the recording, that announcement.
So ominous.
Yeah, no, it's good. So yeah, I thought obviously we do a little deeper dive into the character and then sort of establish a place you are starting in or around Beacon's Hold. So we had just started to talk just randomly. Why don't we continue with you, Emma? Oh, Calvin, I'm thinking of using this here as the Beacon Hold. The idea I have is that it is a single building with all of these different spires and random pieces built on, and it's basically a small city all unto itself.
Yeah, I was reading the description. Sounds very like Minas Tirith kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, now I want that. I want that long, narrow thing that the guy plunges off at the regent or whatever his name was.
His name was Denethor. Come on, don't play.
Come on, we're recording,
The
Kevin.
Steward King. Let's get it together.
Steward King. Let's get it together.
Steward. All right, so we have Kyler, we have Paige, no I, and Calvin.
Yes, sorry. I'm here. I'm just stepped away. Yes.
What's your name, Calvin?
Oh, yeah. Let me change that. It's so exciting. Name is Ripley Creed.
Badass.
Yeah. A bit too badass, actually. Now that I think about it.
A bit too awesome, actually.
Ripley Creed. All right, let's just start with the basics. Go over the basics. Make sure we're all on the same page, literally. Kyler.
Stop.
Just give me a basic of what you are and who you are.
Yeah, so I'm a wizard. I really fancy the divination school, so I'll probably fall into that category as time moves on. It's some advice from my mom is always look ahead. Speaking of my mom, it's my birth mom. Her name's Linda. She's a halfling like me. And then my dad, whose name was Harold, fortunately died in the war, but good news, Linda found Janine. So Janine and Linda got remarried. Janine works at BeaconHold like my mom, but she as a Dragonborn classifier. So she works in acquisitions, which is kind of how I got into acquisitions. I thought Janine's really rad. And then I have a little sister named Vivi. Vivi kind of shares the same views as my dad did, is that maybe BeaconHold isn't as important as everybody thinks it is, but I think BeaconHold can be no wrong. So that's kind of where I'm at. I have asthma. I'm very frail. If I had to give myself a number of, real world hit points, I would say 5.
You're so frail.
Yeah, it's not good.
Baby.
That's a D6 minus 1.
Oh my god.
I have asthma, you guys. It's my parents call it a superpower, but I don't think that's true in this case.
Like Nemo.
Yeah, but at least Nemo could breathe in water a little bit. I die in water and I have trouble on land.
Yeah. Excellent. Excellent start. Paige.
All right. Hello, my name is Paige. I think you probably know me if you've been at BeaconHold at all. Most people know me there because, I've never left BeaconHold. I was born there in a room. I can't remember the name of it, but one day the librarians, they just opened a book and then turned around and there I was. So that's pretty cool, I think. Anyway, so it's nice growing up in a library. Everybody likes you, and I'm pretty nice, I think. No reason to fight. And so I've made friends with everybody here that I've, no real parents, but everybody's my parents in a way. There's people in acquisitions and people in collections, and people just take care of me. It's been really nice. I sleep wherever I want. I read whatever I want. I touch whatever I want. It's kind of been the best. Anyway, so I just turned 20, which is pretty young for an elf, but I guess it's like I came of age or something like that. And so the librarian said that now that I'm a grown-up, I can go and read the book that I came from, because they would never let me read it before. So I read it, and it was fine. It wasn't that good, honestly. It was just a magic book, and I've read lots of magic books in my life. And so I pretended like it was cool, and I pretended like it was important. And then I turned around, and there was a insert blank here item on the ground in front of me. Map, diamond, sword, dagger, fish. And I picked that up and I looked at it with my friend Susan, who's one of the librarians in that department. And she was like, well, that's weird. And I was like, that's very weird. And it felt that it connected to me a little bit. And so here's where it gets a bit sad, is that honestly, things have gotten really strange for me in the library. And there was this one time, it was nighttime, and most people had gone home to bed, and I was just wandering the stacks like I do. And, well, these things came up behind me, and they grabbed me, and they said, give it to us. And it was scary. It was fucking scary, I'll tell you that much. So I attacked them back, and I have some powers that have come up recently. So it's very strange and new for me here, and it's been happening more and more that people have been coming to me to find this thing. And it turns out it's not safe for me in the library anymore, and I have to go and figure it out, I guess. So, brave new world for Paige. That's it.
Excellent.
Imagine the book that you're from is not good. It's insane.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah. Well, that's like, if you grew up in a small town, it was fine growing up. I'm not that proud of it. It's fine.
I have a lot of gaps and a lot of room for like people that I would know. I need to define what this book was. I kind of care. And what this item is that I found. I think probably like I've always had druid powers, like I could cast cantrips, but then this attack, the item sort of spurred on bigger powers that I don't necessarily know.
Yep.
Or
So the inheritor thing, just to go into that, the inheritor is about finding something that's sort of related to your past or to your family. Is that why it's called inheritor? Like it's something that's left for you?
in some way, yes. I don't have to know. And I think it could be and should be connected to this book, right? Because if that's all mysterious as well, whether we ever solve it or not, but I think like something came to me when I came of age connected to this book. I thought maybe a map could be a cool, not super powerful item, but important item to somebody maybe, but not important to me, other than the fact I have it. Maybe I'm the only one who can read it. I don't know.
I'm just writing notes as we go, as I get ideas from what you said. All right.
It's my you guys can't see my video right now, right?
Right.
Correct.
Not.
Okay. Yeah, this is really strange, but when I go to start my video, it tells me that it cannot start my video camera, which is very strange.
It just stopped working out of the blue?
Yeah, yeah, and then when I go to my camera app itself, it won't start. So I don't know. I don't know how to remedy that other than maybe restarting my computer.
Is it a newer laptop?
New-ish, yes, last year. Yeah.
My new laptop, I didn't realize, had a switch along the side that turned the camera on and off as a security feature.
Oh,
There
strange.
was a little button that ran along just underneath or not, just along the edge near the back.
That would be crazy if that was the answer. I can't seem to find anything like that, though.
Maybe just try rejoining the call before the whole restart.
No, he said his camera doesn't work.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah, but if the camera app is considering that Zoom is using the camera, it might not open regardless. Like just because Zoom's not showing it doesn't mean Zoom's not occupying the camera currently.
Right.
Yeah.
that's
Sure.
true.
Why don't you try? That would be faster. So just log out and log back in and see if that fixes it.
Okay.
Now, Griff, you were saying your mother worked as a classifier?
No, my stepmom works as a classifier. Janina works as a classifier.
And your little sister, is your little sister a halfling as well?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, I'm 47. No, 45, which in halfling is like 21. And Vinny's like, I imagined 18 in halfling years, which human years is like 7.
Here you are.
Yeah.
Perfect. So I guess that works.
Excellent. All right, Ripley.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, I am so sorry, guys, but I can't say I have developed even anything near of a backstory as you. I didn't even Sorry.
That's what we're here to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that was astounding. Okay.
Ripley, we're going to make you astounding as well.
Okay, cool. Yeah, okay, so, boy, I haven't even worked on an accent or anything.
That's go good.
Don't even do it. Just tell us. It's
Yeah, don't even do it.
No, okay, so like I said, I was kind of going for this, Irish Catholic priest kind of thing. That's what I'm basing him on.
Nice.
I figured he had a kind of a hard upbringing. He's been an orphan his whole life. So he never met his birth parents. He was adopted. So he was adopted and grew up in substantial poverty. I was thinking his parents were simple farmers. And so actually I did want to bring this up because are we going with the idea of him being from Faerun and that's why he worships Ilmater, or?
No. We'll make you an Eberron native.
Okay, cool.
When I heard the Ilmater, that just gave me a couple of ideas based on the discussion that Jen and I had been having. So it's I shouldn't even have brought it up then.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. No worries.
You just go along and be you, like everyone else, and shit will happen to you.
Okay. Cool. So I think his adoptive parents were actually the ones that introduced him to Ilmater. I think something to do with living in less than ideal circumstances. They turn to their faith to kind of lift them up. Ilmater being the broken god, they kind of learned a lot about redemption and working really hard to make a living and to lead a good life. And yeah, it's just he's just very high ideal oriented. And yeah, I think like when he came of age, he decided that this was all he wanted to do with his life, was to worship and to spread the word. Well, less spread the word, but like to like devote his life to this faith.
To the
And
which?
that's when he
Sorry,
to the faith,
devote his life to the state.
to this faith.
Yep.
And that's what kind of led him to the temple and to becoming a cleric. And yeah, that's unfortunately all I got. I don't know. I just need to weave a story through it.
Not unfortunate.
No, that's good. But he has sort of a rural background.
Yeah.
Okay. And your parents were both worshippers of Ilmater as well.
Yeah. So he grew up in like a pretty devout household, just like any Irish Catholic would.
Right. Right. I think we'll make it that your parents ran like a small church in the village nearby for you,
Okay.
and it was pretty isolated. They were pretty humble people, and it was quite a small little farming community, very friendly. Now we have to figure out what event happens for each of you to sort of send you on your path. So Paige talked about her finding this book and then born from the book, finding an item which we haven't established, and then being attacked. So that creates uncertainty for her and a desire to know more. Is that fair, Emma?
Desire to know more, and perhaps the people that I know and love in the library have told me it's no longer safe to just stay in the library. Maybe to protect the collections, and also to protect me.
Yes. Okay, cool. And Kyler, what was you've always sort of been involved with the library. Does your family live in the library, or do they live in the town? I guess everybody lives in the town, but they're involved with the library? Yes?
Yeah, everyone except my dad and Vivi is pretty fond about the library, but I imagine we live in town, given that my dad was alive. My family kind of had split views on the library.
Right. Because your mothers are both full pro library, and your father, who's passed away or split?
No, he died in the previous war.
He died.
He freaking beefed it.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Well, Janine's pretty great.
Yep. No, that's good. So maybe Ripley, that would be your trigger event too, because the war basically wrapped up about 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe there was enough of a disruption. Maybe there was enough sort of invading armies that sort of wiped out your village or killed a lot of the people, or actually, I'll stop suggesting. What do you think of that idea?
Yeah. No, I think that's good. Okay, so I'm right in assuming that like we don't grow up in BeaconHold, right? Like we're all, or except for Paige, yeah. Okay.
BeaconHold is the name of the city. It's
Right.
not 100% library. Some of these towers and things are residences and part of the leader, the ruling council, et cetera. But most people would grow up and live in this building. Yes, people in the city.
Okay.
Not actually literally inside. Obviously, they go out and there's terraces and balconies and things. But yeah.
Sure. But I'm assuming, but like I think that wouldn't apply to Ripley, seeing as to how he had a rural upbringing, and
Yeah, and it would need a massive rural area to support it, right? Because there's not
Right.
hardly anything growing in there.
Right. Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. So maybe. Yeah, I do like that idea that maybe the war is what kind of forced him to leave. Um, I also don't want his backstory to be super dark. Um, but like maybe it's just a question of him like um I don't know, like needing to provide for like you can't really provide as a cleric.
Oh, sure you can.
Yeah?
Great food and drink. So how about this? Just to sort of riff off what you're saying, what about the whole idea that there was literally, hundreds, if not thousands of people that were driven into BeaconHold from the surrounding area because of the various armies and things. And so that there's, big chunks of BeaconHold that are squalor, sort of refugee camps while people slowly get reestablished. And you, because your broken God is all about that suffering, have been living right in the middle of all that squalor, helping as many people as you can, and some of the villagers and some of the people that you have grown up with your whole life.
Cool.
Maybe you and these two parents that are the the clerics, are they still alive?
I would like that. I would like his parents to still be alive.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So I think maybe the three of you, or maybe your parents, led the group, basically led them in, and now part of one of the things that they're doing is they're getting now that everything's resolved and all these bandits and things have been cleared out of the area. Maybe your parents are trying to sort of reestablish the village.
Right. Okay.
Try to get reorganized or resettled.
Okay. I was also thinking like maybe Ilmater isn't a very popular god within BeaconHold, and this band of refugees bringing. Sorry, go ahead, Kevin.
Yep. No, I would say you three are the only ones.
Cool. Yeah. So
no one knows about
The broken God's all about that suffering.
Yeah.
But like maybe it's almost a thing where them bringing this refugee camp in and like showcase, like I don't know, like all of the suffering being so much at the forefront within the city walls, they kind of create like this like pseudo like new religion church within BeaconHold, and like are now like bringing to light this like new religion.
Yeah.
I don't know, and like kind of doing some preaching on the city streets, and people are taking notice.
Yeah. And I think you would be shocked that there's all these tens of thousands of people, or whatever number we settle on. It wouldn't be tens of thousands of people in this city that have never heard of Ilmater, because you've grown up your whole life immersed.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe part of what you're trying to do is discover more about Ilmater. Why is he unknown, he or she unknown? And maybe that's part of the reason you get drawn into the library, not so much as an employee, but more as a researcher or a way to find stuff out.
Cool. Yeah.
Kevin,
I like that.
Do they loan books at the library? Like, or do people come in to do research and then leave?
They come in, they do research, and they leave. They have several places where you can buy copies of the books, but they're prohibitively expensive because they're all hand done.
Well, the reproduction department is very good.
Yes.
Yes.
And that's where a lot of artists work, because they'll pretty them up, they'll illustrate them with all sorts of things related to the buyer. So it's a very high end thing. However, the other thing that BeaconHold offers is all of the inhabitants get 4 years of education at BeaconHold. In return, they get an education in return for 1 to 4 years of service to the library. So this wouldn't necessarily apply to you, Ripley, but this might be something that you're considering. Like maybe you want to expand your education, and in return, you're required to work in some capacity inside the library. Maybe the old ways that you and your family and the village have practiced are no longer available, or maybe there's new things, because we're also going to have a lot of what I'm calling the ACE, basically the Warforged, but they're going to be all sort of steampunky. So maybe there's new sort of like farming implements and things that will increase the yield for the village, and you want to make sure you're kept up to date with all the latest agricultural techniques and things.
Well, yeah, no, that sounds solid. And so that's like, so is that like a job within the library?
Well, I've talked about two things. I've talked about whether you want to just be a researcher or whether you want to sort of take a part of the education and be involved in some aspect. So the most natural thing, based on what you said, would be to be working in the Orator's Horn, Orion's Horn. So Orion's Horn is going to be this monster tower that's going to have 6 different biospheres inside it. So there, it's
how do you spell Orion?
Aureon.
Okay.
And that's the College of Natural Sciences. And they maintain, like a desert area, an Arctic area, an underwater area, a temperate forest, a jungle, and a plains. And each of these things are monstrous, say 1 kilometer in diameter.
Wow. Okay.
And I would think, actually, Paige, now that we're thinking about that, that might be where you go from the area you are, because Susan, thinks you need to get out of this area since they know where you are. And maybe she has somebody that you can talk to, or maybe that's where she works. So she says, come, we can set you up in the forest and things.
And probably make it safe there.
Right.
Some way.
Let me just share this with you.
Yes, I like that very much as a hideout spot for me for now.
So this image here, which of course you can't see yet, hold on. Can you 3 see that? The huge sort of greenhouse thing?
Beautiful.
Yeah. So my idea is there will be 6 of these different things. This is obviously sort of the jungle one. There is a stream running through it. There's a little tram at the back. So it's a way to sort of duplicate the jungle that people can, and obviously a lot of the professors and things are doing experiments. It's open to the public during the day. I think something like this, or whether it's this one or the plains or the temperate forest, might even be a place that Ripley would feel comfortable working, right? In terms of learning more about different plants and learning about different species. There's an underwater one, and there's an Arctic one as well. The Arctic one is at the top, and it's kept frozen, relatively frozen. And through each of these spheres, there's going to be, obviously the steps and things. There's going to be glass tubing to get from one to another, that kind of stuff. And this would take place in the, just a couple of other images I've found here.
Right, who's that mustachioed robot?
I want to know about the scary lady robot.
Okay, so the scary lady robot isn't a robot. She is a survivor, a former soldier from the war, and she's more cyborg. So she's had parts of herself replaced because of damage, because of problems with things. She's been she's obviously pretty extreme, but there's lots of people walking around with artificial arms or legs or things. And one of the things that they're doing a lot of work on is integrating sort of that machine efficiency onto various people. So this is available basically to all the monitors. This is either if they were hurt in the war, this is available to them, or if they want a specific enhancement, because they work as the library guards and monitors and things. This fellow here is going to be one of the senior people that you guys have to interact with. We'll figure out exactly who he is. And then this is just another image that I found in terms of the exploring how it might look. Although this looks a little less immersive and more sort of observational, and I would see them as being more actually in, doing the actual research on things. So yeah.
Very cool. What were the former soldiers called?
I don't know. The word I used was monitor. They're the library guards and security.
Right. Cool. Cool.
Yes, Harold was a monitor before the war. It's how he met my mom.
Excellent.
And it's his time as a monitor that turned him away from the library.
Scandalous.
All right.
And Kyler, you work as a classifier now?
Yes, yeah. A lot of people say that, maybe I wasn't like strong enough to work in acquisitions, or some people are like, oh, you're only in acquisitions because your stepmom's in acquisition. And, people can say what they want, but I'm pretty smart. A light breeze will definitely knock me over. But in terms of like my knowledge, I'm there.
Cool.
All right. And so the classifier role is literally to sort of examine things that come in. So whether it's books that are traded. So to go back to your earlier question, it's going to be a gold piece fee or a trade item to get access to the library for a set period, whether that's 3 days, 10 days, whatever it is.
So basically, someone can trade in an item and go, okay, this is worth 9 days of research?
Yes.
Okay.
What department determines that?
That would be people working in classifications, but also in acquisitions. But I also have created the role of the consultant. So,
right.
The first role,
I don't know. I haven't looked at it. Sorry.
Yeah, the consultancy, they deals with the public. So what will happen every once in a while, Griffin, is that Kyler gets something sort of plopped across his desk. So maybe it's either some sort of research item, maybe it's a magnifying glass determining whether it's magical or not. The idea is for you to carefully appraise it. Then you send the appraisal on to the consultant. The consultant comes back and gives the person who gifted it, this is worth 4 days of research, or this is worth this.
Right. So classifier, because maybe I read the document wrong, but do acquisition teams also bring 1 or 2 classifiers with them to classify? That's the item we need. We got to bring it back.
The acquisition teams usually are working more freelance, but they could certainly be sent out, and they would have a classifier with them for sure.
Great. And so the classifier, they classify the magical property of the item, and then with those details go to the consultant?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
And then working together, they determine a rough value. Now, that's happening at a sort of a much more senior level than what you're currently at. Like, you never get a full book, for example.
No.
But one day, if you're patient.
I got a magical rose the other day. It's a pretty crazy day.
Yeah, exactly that.
I wonder if I might have a good friend in acquisitions or something like that who maybe might offer me some advice on leaving the library and going out and learning things outside of these walls that I hate, but it could be in that world.
Well, the interesting thing about, okay, so just to package this up and we can decide how that would play out, maybe you happen to notice Mr. Asthma Boy there really huffing and wheezing, and you know something because of your herbal background. So you end up going into the horn and finding some rare plant, and you brew it up for him just because you're a sweetheart.
I am.
Yeah.
And then we find Ripley there, and I don't know Ripley, and that's weird because I know pretty much everybody who comes in here.
Right. And sure. So if Ripley is, well, sorry, I shouldn't say this. Ripley, do you want to be working or do you want to be researching? Sort of, do you want to be involved or do you want to be sort of a customer? Although I guess you could offer to sort of trade, because the other thing that's available is maintenance, would be things like literally digging up plants and things in the horn, which is where you could come across Paige.
Suffering.
Yeah. I don't know.
But that's just a suggestion.
Tough because this is tough because I do like the idea of like Paige not knowing me at all and just kind of stumbling in there, and so that would lead me to think more as like as a researcher that I was just like, who knows, might be my first day in the library, and that's when I come across them.
Yep, first day in the library is pretty good. Especially if you've spent the last sort of year just getting established and getting everybody settled and helping your parents get reorganized, and you hear about something that would trigger a visit to the library or you want to know more. And what we'll have to work out is like what the entrance to the library looks like. Oh my God.
Would I be friends with Kyla? Could we know each other? Having grown up around here together, and you know, you're an indoor kid and I'm an indoor kid. We could just know each other.
Yeah, I get sunburned very easily.
No.
That actually makes a lot of sense. I just changed two of my proficiencies from nature to investigation, so I have less nature knowledge than I did 10 seconds ago.
Amazing.
Yeah.
How fast it happens.
Yep.
I kind of like the idea of, like, if we two know each other and we find Ripley in some way, that's kind of cool to, we have a reason to show you around, but we know our way around.
Yeah, like it makes me think that that Paige might have brought the map to me, and like that's something that's like the biggest thing I've ever gotten, and we've been like working on classifying it
In secret, because they
That's
would
right.
look at something like that.
There's no way. Paper is like tier 4. I got a rose once.
Right. Well, yeah, that would be an excellent thing. Maybe Paige has like a quiet little cave or a little glen tucked away in the corner where she keeps this, and she talks you into coming to see it, and you're quite excited because it is literally the first actual thing, first piece of paper you've actually gotten to examine in any.
I can bring the books because technically we're not leaving the library.
All the time, like literally all the time.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fun. That's fun vibes to play with. And like, we saw Ripley and took pity on him because he was lost, or.
Well, okay, how about this? How about Ripley can't afford the entrance, so he's like he climbs in through the ventilator shaft and ends up, he crashes down all of a sudden in front of you right into your little grove, and he's right there just as you guys are working away on your map. And we'll make it a map, sure.
Yeah, no, I love that. That's awesome.
Kind of like a map. Does that feel right, Kevin? like
Yeah, I think a map is fine. I think
have like monetary value. I don't want it to be like a gem or a sword or a title.
No, I think it would be something. I think it's going to take I think let's do it this way. Let's do it that it's a large or rolled up, sort of very fragile feeling series of diagrams and charts and arcane symbols that you guys will eventually discover
Sure.
leads to maps, or at least some sort of guide or some sort of breakdown. So what you'd see in this arcane symbol, okay, we'll get into it actually. And what do you know of your attackers? Anything?
I do like the idea of having like a pretty fresh set of scars. So like some sort of beast found me at some point. That was maybe the most recent and the worst. And that's where I learned to cast Entangle. Other than that, it's been like patrons who've sort of just cornered me and threatened me, and I've managed to get away, or stuff like that. But I kind of imagine I've got like claw marks, like a cool scar on my face, like this.
Oh.
That was quite bad and quite traumatic for me. But I've got a high constitution, Kyler. Don't worry.
It's good because, yeah, again, I'm a paper man.
Well, the interesting thing about that is that maybe Paige, even though she's never really been outside, if she spent a lot of her time in the Horn, she's just like a tomboy, kind of has always been like swinging through the jungle and climbing stuff and swimming in the water and doing that kind of stuff.
Yes. The word I like is scamp.
Ah.
It's funny you learned Entangle when you got attacked by a beast. So I learned Shield pretty early. I was bullied a lot, actually. Throw rocks at a glass house, they said. It's different if you have glass bones.
Wait.
Yeah.
And if you were a halfling too, you're probably the smallest kid in the class.
Yeah, I'm 3'3". My inhaler is like a quarter of the size of me.
That's your arcane focus, is your inhaler.
Oh, that's
like,
interesting.
Big ornate, like it looks like a pipe, except that it puffs bubbles.
No, I chose what I think might be the lamest arcane focus, which is a wand. So
yeah, I think you know what, wand is fine. I do like inhaler though.
I'm happy to make it the inhaler. I think that's great. Inhale from inhaler, exhale dragon's breath.
Yeah.
Yeah. As far as like druidic powers go, I think totally like that connection to the Horn is really awesome, but it seems to me connected to the library in some way as well. Like it's it's a little bit of like sorcerer flavor in terms of druid magic. Like it's not studied, it's just like what I can do.
I see what you mean. Yeah. I think we need sort of I think we need to sort of play out that awakening moment. And maybe we need to play out that beast encounter. And that's when Ripley shows up, falls down from the ventilator.
Scary.
Maybe Ripley helps you while you're having this last attack and you have that scar.
That's true.
Maybe you were searching for an herb for Kyler.
Totally.
Yeah. When you have that kind of moment.
And I left Kyler alone with the map.
Well, you know what? The two of you were in your little hidden area, and you were working on it, and Kyler was getting so excited. And you went to run off to get him some herbal tea. Yeah, that's good. That's good. All right, cool.
Can we talk just really quick about Finn's questionnaire? Because I just wanted to make sure it made sense to all of us about those questions, because Sarah contacted me and I know the other group is going through it, and I was like, well, should we just acknowledge its existence?
You bet.
Yes, I've sent my questionnaire to Finn already.
Wow.
I'm short. I'm like a little portly. I got long blonde hair, green eyes, freckles.
Cute.
Kyler!
Kyler.
I asked for like the equivalent of like a steampunk snapback.
Yeah. I guess that's a question. Like, how steampunky is our world? Like, is it flavored kind of Victoriana versus like medieval?
Yes. Well, no, I see what you mean. No, it would be, yeah. See if I could find an image that will capture sort of the overall idea, because I pulled one up somewhere. Just 1 second. Do you want to pull up the form and sort of go through it?
Sure.
And then Ripley, the two of you can talk it out, see what things you guys still want to talk. Just take me a second to find this, I think.
Did you answer for what's their real world race?
So what I assumed was what that like what are they perceived as? So I said kind of like halfling human, like they're pretty humanoid. They're just like I didn't picture it like a curly hair, hairy feet, stereotypical halfling, kind of just like a shorter human. I in fact I think I might have just said the real world race is also just halfling.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I think I answered. I haven't finished it yet, but I said white because I was like, what am I coded as? Like, am I playing?
Oh.
No, I wanted to ask you guys what.
Right. I think I put that in one of the descriptor questions.
Okay. I'm sure if Finn has questions, they will just ask, but.
Yeah, I realized that I didn't actually put what I'm like holding. Like I didn't put, you know, she knows I'm a wizard and I described like clothing and headwear and looks, but I realized I didn't describe like if I have like a staff or a dagger or something. So I imagine that will be a question posed.
Okay. Calvin, have you had a look at it?
Calvin, you're muted. No.
Oh, technology.
Oh,
Sorry, can you guys hear me now?
yes.
Okay, cool. No, I have not had a look at this yet. Where do I find this?
Posted it in the Discord in the Beacon Holders thread for now. I think it's one post.
Oh, I see. Is this the art request?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about them. What do they do? How do they carry themselves? Aloof and standoffish, big teddy bear, anxious or flirty, blah, 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 blah. What parts of their identity do you most want to get across? I think we've gone over that with all of us. That's pretty clear. How do they dress, gender presentation, etc. That's a question I kind of don't know, is like, what's normal? What is armor in this world? Kind of thing. Describe their body, skin color, short, tall, portliness factor, hair color, eye color, special attributes like tattoos, scars, wings, ghost parts. Yeah, I guess I want to know, like, what's the flavor of the world? What do people wear here? What do...
Right. So for the world itself, in terms of the steampunk, I don't want to tip too far into the Victorian, too much of the the whatever stovepipe kind of eye lens kind of stuff.
I definitely asked for goggles.
Yeah, well, no, some of that stuff is fine for sure, and I think goggles works perfectly for you given your current job. So it's definitely more modern than medieval. I just don't want to get into like the cars and the rifles and any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
And-
there's no guns.
Yeah. And the in terms of there's going to be a bunch of different cultures there because this is basically a center of learning. So I was just thinking if you expand on that from like a university town, there'll be lots of sort of medieval equivalents to like falafel places and places where you can have, your matcha and whatever. So the idea is it's going to be a blend of a bunch of different cultures.
Yeah,
And I think for
culture.
you, it would almost be maybe it's a patchwork of stuff that you've discovered and things that people have brought you, and you've, rather than a really sort of set look,
Yeah.
or I mean not a set look, but a set period or style.
There's no like women don't wear skirts, women wear whatever kind of thing. Like there's none of that.
Right.
Cool. It's open to all of that. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, when you first described her, I just thought of, like the whole sort of like buckskin type thing, but that's just the stereotype that you sort of lead to that kind of idea of the frontier woman idea.
that
But
is not what I see, but we'll see.
No.
Okay.
That's just what was in my head.
Tattoos and body mods. Is that a thing that we would encounter?
Yes, I think so. I haven't finalized that with Jen, but as we talked about in the thing, I think we're going to have each of you having your own distinctive bookmark. Although how you get those, we haven't worked out. So whether that's a scar across your face, or whether that's something you're born with, or where it's something that sort of rises up over time, we don't know. It's going to be the thing that, from a meta point of view, it's going to be the thing that drives the potion effect. From a story point of view, this is what's going to allow you guys to cross over the worlds, is that spanning all the worlds are these individuals that have this mark, that are marked for a higher purpose. And the fact that you got all three sort of diverse backgrounds is great. So how exactly that looks, it doesn't have to be visible. I don't think it needs to be visible. I don't think it's going to be huge. It's going to be something that you guys either have or will work out.
Can I have it like a constellation in my freckles?
Can you have a constellation in your freckles?
In like whatever shape we are thinking about for the bookmark.
Right.
Can I don't think I get a tattoo, and I'm pretty cautious in terms of scars. It was just an idea in terms of like a body.
Damage of a tattoo.
Yeah, I would. I'd fail 2 death saving throws immediately if I got a tattoo.
It could be you're a fainter.
That kind of tracks with my breathing problems.
Oh dear.
I like the idea of a birthmark that means nothing until it means something.
Yep.
It's not like a big deal until it's like, oh God, weird. Wow, what's happening?
Yeah, so I don't think it definitely wouldn't be a tattoo in the conventional sense. It's not something you guys would go out and get put on your body, for sure. It would be something to...
Ocean effect across your face.
Push here from that.
Yeah. Yeah, in terms of that, I think that works out well.
Now, this might be like a whole D20 question, but there's a lot of, and I guess I'm talking specifically wizard stuff. There's a lot of wizard abilities that rely on short rests happening. From my memory of season 1, we don't ever do a short rest. What are your thoughts on that?
I would say, the main thing you should look at doing is having a second character ready to go when you keel over there, Muffin.
Got it.
The stakes are so high.
Yeah, the format's going to be different though, right? Because we're not going to have an adventure necessarily take just the 2-hour period. So it won't be sort of those short, intense things all the time. There's going to be elements of that, And I agree with Jen that we should have a beginning, middle, of end of this. Like, it should be a self-contained story in and of itself.
Right.
But if we're halfway through an adventure and everybody's depleted, we're going to work in a short rest because we don't want the next episode to be death.
Cool. Okay. Great.
Yeah.
Right,
One of the things that I had talked about with Jen, and I think she really likes, is the idea of having the whole thing take place within the library itself, which is interesting. We have to talk that one out as well. I don't know if it's practical in terms of what we want to achieve, but it's conceivable. Although there's whole adventures like whatever, Dragon Heist and all those things that are just in a city. So it's probably doable. It's just a matter of working out exactly what that means.
Oh,
And especially
sorry.
if we,
Do you mean the whole adventure happening in the library or whole adventure happening in BeaconHold?
it would be in BeaconHold, yeah.
Right. Okay.
in both libraries.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah, it's going to be, and there's obviously going to be lots of unexplored or closed down or disused areas and things, and we'll be able to go down and that kind of stuff too. So now, one of the things that I have put on the list, I don't know if it's of interest, I don't know if we need to do it, but it might be useful for you, Ripley, is that I have the Xanathar's Guide, This Is Your Life, where you basically just create a random selection of attributes, background, history, experiences, and things. So that's something we don't necessarily have to go through right here, but if you want to, you and I can sort of walk through it and see if that stirs up more for you, if you feel like you need to have more of a background than you currently have.
I like what I'm working with so far, like the stuff that we came up with on this meeting. I'm definitely just gonna sit down and just try and write out some stuff to kind of flesh it out a little bit more. But yeah, I don't know. I think I have a pretty good handle on it so far.
Sure.
Yeah. Does that assist you in that? Do you want us to send you like a Word document of a backstory, or like what do you think? What do you want? Oh, your mic's gone, brother.
From my end,
Yeah.
yes. The more backstory we have, the more elements and events and NPCs we can pull to integrate into into how you guys ended up being some of the chosen, some of the bookmarked.
Yeah, I'll send you some stuff, Kevin, and I'll leave like some of the NPC names if you want to like delete and replace with somebody that you think is important. Go for it.
Right. Well, the only thing I was going to add to your story is I think we're going to make Susan a satyr.
I just made that name up right then. So
That's fine.
So Susan
the satyr.
great.
Safe.
And
Especially if you were in one area and she sort of introduced you to the horn as a way to sort of smuggle you out of harm's way. And she spends most of her time in like the woodland, the forest thing. So that's her main area.
what department does she work in?
I think she would be a researcher.
Cool.
So she's going to be one of the senior people. And maybe she's taken a shine to you. And she heard about you after the fact, but she's taken a shine to you because, definitely because you're an elf, and because she's fascinated about how you came to exist.
And because I brought her cookies one time. What's the ranking system in these departments, I guess? Like, if Kyler is level 1, is there titles that we should use or stuff like that?
Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah. The way I had that working was to use your classification numbers. So you two would have a classification number that you were given when you were 12.
Right.
And I've ranked the roles in order of sort of relative prestige. Let's pull that up again. But you're right, within each division, there would definitely be, say, 10 levels of
So researcher is the highest.
Yeah.
And yeah, fiction. Yeah, so classifier is up there. I imagined, yeah. So Harold was a monitor. Janine is a classifier, and I think my birth mom Linda is a professor. So I got the whole BeaconHold education, and I love BeaconHold.
Right. So because of your family's, all the different positions your family has had, you've probably had a much more positive experience in Beaconhold because you're sort of upper middle class, if not upper class.
Yeah, oh, for sure. Yeah, I think I'm pretty privileged. Definitely.
So you probably haven't seen the kind of areas that Ripley lives in.
Yeah, people have like told me about them for sure.
Right.
You to go
But
to
I was told there was maybe gas down there, or stinky air, and that just won't do for old Kai Kai.
Yeah. And it's not that you're disdainful, you don't understand why they just don't have enough cake or whatever.
Yeah, again, my intelligence is high, but my wisdom is not as high. So I think it might just be oblivious of like, I guess everything's like as good as it is here.
Yeah, you've been sheltered, that's all.
Yeah.
Whereas Paige has sort of explored all over, so has seen all different
I like
areas.
Everybody who has a child, I know their child.
Oh.
Like from bottom, like I've been friends with everybody's kid.
Right. Yeah, that's good.
I know everybody's child.
Yeah, depending on how you say it, may not be great. But yeah.
And that kids like Kyler who are not supposed to go and get dirty, I would take them and get dirty. And kids like the what are they called?
Street rats, urchins.
Urchins. I would take them to the kitchens and make sure they got to taste really great cake. Like it doesn't mean anything to me.
Right. Right. And maybe your druid, yeah, the druid focus is so cool within this environment. So maybe the kinds of creatures you're aware of are and never mind. I was going to say maybe it's things like rats and dogs and cats and pigeons and things, but you would definitely have that. But I think I still want you to be sort of just to convey the wonder of the size of these biospheres.
I think like when I get to Wild Shape, Kevin, I probably would know quite a few creatures, but would literally have never seen anything but like a rat or a cat. So like that beast, it's like I might be a pterodactyl with like tiny wings because I don't really know what it is.
Right. Yeah, that's good. And maybe it's that kind of you need a couple of animal mentors, or what you need is a druid mentor.
Yeah, but I wouldn't think of them as my mentor. But so Ripley, are you poor?
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
Are you a
shockingly poor? Yeah. Yeah. I think I've kind of grown up in poverty my whole life, but my parents have also always told me to like share my wealth and share my possessions. It's like because we were kind of the heads of our village, or they were kind of the head of our village. So
definitely the spiritual leaders.
Yeah, so it kind of fell on their shoulders to kind of prop everyone up as much as they could, and that meant sharing as much wealth as they could. So yeah, I never really grew up with particularly with any real knowledge of wealth. To me, it was just like, yeah, this is. I think it's almost like I'm so humble that like I don't really have any concept of like possessions or what that would even mean as like something being mine. I think like, oh no, like this is for everyone, or yeah.
And
Yeah.
How old are you?
Oh boy. I would think that Ripley is probably in like his early 20s. Yeah, probably around like 23 or so.
Well, maybe Ripley, you don't realize that you're poor until now you've come to, like, maybe
Oh, for
you've
sure,
been
yeah.
so sheltered, but you've had such a great life that it wasn't until you were sort of, everyone was forced into BeaconHold that you've realized all the variety and things and stuff that are out there. And you see people throwing away food, you see people fighting over the shape of each other's glasses, you see all these seemingly ridiculous things, and it's sort of been sort of mega culture shock for you and a shift. Whereas I think maybe Griffin or Kyler is been isolated and sheltered in the exact opposite economic scale, and have no idea that people like Ripley are struggling, because you don't get into that part of the town because you're so busy and isolated and focused. And maybe
Yeah.
Paige is sort of all over the place, seeing all this kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
I like us.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just it's just a little bit of the background, but it would help inform the characters going forward as you guys find out new discoveries about things, or whether you or Ripley is amazed that Kyler has two of these buns and only eats half of one of them and tosses the other two away, right? Or the other one and a half away. Not that
I have a
he's
very weak stomach.
That's right.
Eats, it's not good for him.
That's
Yeah,
right.
no, I like white rice and buns. That's it. Carrots are like too spicy for me.
Oh no, I love you too much.
That's right.
I could die in an instant.
Right.
So I'm a toy soldier.
Although, again, an interesting part about that could be that you have sort of been kept that way by your family, and you start to realize that you're actually tougher than you think, or you think you're allergic to everything until you actually find out that you've been eating eggs or whatever.
Yeah. If my son had the equivalent of 5 real world hit points, I would keep him as a bubble boy for sure. You're not allowed to only stay in the filtered air.
That's right.
Oh my God. Protect him. Teach him shield, goddammit.
Why divination, Kyler?
I feel mixed. So there's future plans.
There's the Griffin reason, and there's the Kyler reason.
No, future plans. There's something that I've always wanted to try. In terms of so the Griffin reason is there's an archetype of a character that I've always kind of wanted to try. And again, I think it worked with Kyler because he's very smart, but just not like perceptive. Like he's just a little oblivious. He's insanely smart and kind, but not strong or maybe not dependable, but adaptable. I don't think he's quick on his feet. So there is a certain luck that I think a character like that needs. Like I think Kyler, if he ever fails upwards, given his whole like upper class stature. So divination, the school of divination, plus the halfling lucky thing, plus, and this is not something that I'd run by anybody, but I was thinking of the lucky feat when I reached 4th level, is just like the only way that I can see someone like Kyler surviving in this world. It's just like, well, almost stepped in that pit. It's crazy that almost happened. Anyway, do.
Right.
Yeah, you can just be that oblivious because you're just that fucking lucky.
Yeah. Or and there's something. I don't know if you guys know the game Prince of Persia. It's the where you can like play through and then time rewinds, and then in some of the editions, if you died in Prince of Persia, the Prince of Persia, if you pressed yes to continue, would go like, no, that's not how that happened. So I kind of like that idea of me researching, I don't know, like a battle tactic or like a history of a war or the way that a beast attacks, like something like that. And I get hit and I go, no, I don't think they're supposed to hit like that. and then so then I use the divination and it like kind of rewinds it. I don't know, something like that.
I like the idea that you just happen to bend over just as the claw is coming over. You just notice that
Totally.
you dropped some pencils. So you just
Of
bend
course,
over.
yeah. Like I looked down to look at my now stained pocket protector and the arrow.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think it works pretty well in terms of that aspect of it. And I also think because your mothers are quite high up, I think I think this robot is going to be he's like your tutor.
This mustachioed robot?
Yeah, he's sort of your tutor, but he's also kind of like a nursemaid, and his job is just to keep Kyler from getting into trouble.
Perfect.
So he has
It's like every escort mission in a video game.
Oh, yeah,
La, 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 la.
yeah. I think that's so. He basically just sort of follows you around. Now he's smaller than you.
Wow, not many things are.
Right. So and he it's probably gets bored very quickly of just waiting around while you, and he has no interest in artifacts or any of that stuff whatsoever.
He's lost.
He's just yeah.
I tell him honestly all the time.
Oh yeah. Kyler, I think it's time for your nap. You haven't had a nap all afternoon.
What's his name?
His name is my name is Dabney. Dabney Coleman.
Dabbers.
Kyler, you forgot your juice container. Kyler.
I'll just
You've got to shake your robot. Let's run.
Yeah, so he just like scoops up Kyler and like swings through the trees.
rule is that if you drop the juice container, the robot slips. But I might too.
Yeah. So Dabney. So we got Susan. We got Dabney.
I wrote down Dabney's name, and then I actually just wrote the name that I just called him, which is Dabbers. I have to change that.
I think that would be fine that you would have that name for him.
Oh, I know, but I do want his actual name.
And I think if he's somebody that you sort of grown up with or has sort of been with you a long time, you could sort of be like a little bit tired of him.
Yeah, or at least I know how to trick him or like convince him otherwise. Because I don't think my sister Vivi needs a Dabney. I think she's tougher than I think she's 20 years younger than I am, but she could kick my ass, like that kind of thing. Of just like she didn't do better in school, but she could I think she comes to my aid, or came to my aid. I think that was a big part of my bullying. Is if I was being bullied, my little sister would come and shove the guy.
Oh,
and
dear.
that would kind of be fine for me. Yeah, get him, Vivi. Nice. Don't let him cough on me.
Yeah. Yes. So we got to come up with a Vivi too. So Vivi's sort of a little more rough and tumble, or is a lot more rough and tumble.
Yeah.
You said Vivi, right?
I did say Vivi.
Yeah, you're a grown-ass man. You don't need a nanny.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, I am technically 45. If we're going by years, I'm 45.
And also, you guys have an apartment, and you live in the basement of that apartment.
That's right.
Your mothers are up on the same floor.
It's just a good opportunity for her to see me.
Right. And also very cost effective.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah. No,
But I think,
good.
I think Kyler is, focused, maybe oblivious, but not unkind. Like still wary of other people, and not. I wouldn't even say ignorant. I would just say oblivious.
Right.
Because learning is his whole thing. He doesn't choose to not learn. He's just been It's kind of why I wanted through with that. My mom was also my teacher, in that I have a very source fed education.
Right. And you would have, it's that really smart, just not that bright, kind of like ivory tower taken to the nth degree.
Yeah, and
So
my
you have
sister is
very
like the
good, very
opposite.
specific knowledge about things you know about, and you have almost no knowledge about life or how
Yeah.
that kind of stuff works.
And Vivi is like very street smart, conspiracy theorist, bring down BeaconHold kind of thing.
Right.
Anarchy.
So would Ripley be in classes?
Oh, interesting.
Like if you're working,
Because of how young he is?
like
Well, no, the idea that you work for, you're working to get towards something, and maybe the fact that you see all the things that are available, maybe you're trying to learn more, even like agricultural science or engineering or something like that, so that you can better help the village down the road.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it's possible. I like the idea of him trying to break into the library on his first day because
Okay.
he couldn't pay the entrance fee.
Right.
Yeah, you're fucking running out of time.
Yeah.
cool. I think in terms of education, like for me, it's like happenstance. Like I don't think I would have been maybe a classification number, but I don't know that I would have been streamed into anything. I just like went to that class and went to that class, and I saw this workshop that time and followed that teacher around for a year. Like, sure.
Yeah. I think that definitely suits sort of that wild child idea.
Cool.
And also there would definitely be sort of an underworld to BeaconHold. Like there would be sort of an underground economy, and with all the structure and stuff that the various head librarians and the top ace entities would have. I think, yeah. Did you ever read The Golden Compass?
Exactly what I'm thinking about.
Right.
Yeah.
Because the character in that, the young girl in that is very much a Page type character.
Very
at least in the first book.
From here was with that, and like with the special object.
That's right.
So
that's right. And we obviously have some nemesis for you, but we'll work out exactly what that is. And for Ripley, I think you've had a huge transition from your rural life. You are relatively happy living in the squalor because it feels like that's how you've lived. And maybe you see sort of all the bright lights of the shops and the clubs and all that kind of stuff as distraction, or you just see all the unhappiness there. But the library with its actual knowledge has a lot of appeal for you. So in the society of BeaconHold, I think that we'll do things like cage match spelling bees, and it's a lot of sort of verbal, it's a lot of trading of wits and a lot of that kind of stuff. So there's the clubs and the underground and the mafia and all that kind of stuff, but it's all literary focused and literary based. And I think if we actually went that route, maybe you weren't picked on. Maybe you were the star. Maybe you were really popular with all the girls, Kyler.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because there's such a mental focus rather than a physical focus, the physical focus would be less emphasized.
Well, here's the thing. My two highest stats are intelligence and charisma. So I don't think I think I'm pretty well liked.
Right.
Like I don't think that I'm necessarily like unpopular.
Right. I'm just saying
at least in my circles. Because you know what I mean? Like I wouldn't go to any like underground like any of the kind of the mafia stuff you kind of talked about. But if there's like competitions, then sure, yeah, I'll excel in those.
You are a mathlete, baby.
That's right. Now I have a question to kind of go along with the wizard theme, and maybe you want to go full force with this. Is Dabney like a familiar.
No, Dabney's like he's a functioning, he's a person.
Okay.
Yeah. He's robotic, but he has his own, he's autonomous and has awareness and all that kind of stuff.
Right, but I guess
So
what I'm
effectively
asking
a
is like
warforged.
in a battle, am I going to be able to go send Daphne to punch to punch the guy, or like how? I guess like I have to find a way to get away from Dabney every session.
Yeah,
I don't think you have to necessarily get away from him, but I would say he would be useless in a fight.
Right.
would he be a continuing NPC sort of forever? Or is it
Unless he gets wrecked somehow or destroyed. Yes. Now, I reserve the right to change my mind about that, depending on how it all plays out. But given the fact that you sort of come from the upper layers of BeaconHold society, and because of all your perceived, whether they work out to be that way or not, all your perceived frailties, I think your mothers would trust to. He's more like a retainer or a butler than.
Yeah, I think Linda, the professor, my birth mother, is more concerned about me than Janine, the dragonborn, who got me into acquisitions and classification.
More concerned, more worried about your frailty. Yeah, for sure.
Like
She wants to make
my
sure you never become a monitor. She wanted to make sure you never became a monitor.
yeah, I think my dragonborn stepmom and my birth dad share those kind of qualities. Like, yeah, but it's good to get him out there a little bit.
Right. Yeah, so maybe that's how. Okay, so let's try a. Actually, you know what? Let's take a break. We're right at the halfway part. Let's take a 10-minute break, and then when we come back, we'll set up an encounter and see how it plays out.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
Yeah.
And we'll stop and start this as we discover new things and talk it out as well. Yeah. And that's where I buried the body. Moving on. All right, so let's start. Ripley, you go. This is like your third day here. You've just gotten established. You've found this sort of in the dark, back far corner of the city, quite a ways from everything. There is these large, look like disused sort of gathering halls. And what's happened is over the last couple of years, they've evolved into refugee areas. So they are relatively dark. Everything is a little haphazard. There's lots of canvas. It's not very permanent. You're actually in a building, but it's like being in a refugee, it's like being in a gymnasium during a hurricane, that kind of thing. And what's happened is like your mother and father are working to keep everybody together. You've started to grow. You have long troughs of plants, and you started to grow some plants to get some food supplements. There's shops and things set up, really kind of a big open air market. It's pretty sketchy. But what you've heard about this library. And as you've wandered through the city, the various parts that you're not kicked out of and places where you've looked around, you've realized that there's just so much more going on in the world than what you were aware of. And you're also fascinated because you see many more of these machines, robotic people, all of these different types. Some of them, for example, are they push their own cart. Their body is part of the cart, and they sell things. It's very much a strange thing. And you've watched some of these carts pushing or sort of pulling quite huge loads and things, and you've realized there's a huge potential here for you if you could either convince some of these robot people to come work with you on the farm, because your parents are now talking about going back to the village. What was the name of your village, by the way? That's unknown. It's hard to hear. It's hard to hear the name of the village.
The village's name was Houndvale.
Talondale?
Houndvale.
Like of Baskerville.
Yeah.
Houndvale.
Houndvale. That's cool as fuck.
Ripley Creed from Houndvale.
Ripley Creed, road cop.
Yes,
Except he's
definitely.
just a priest.
Ripley.
An Irish priest.
Yeah. And so you are you standing outside the massive doors to this library? This is like your third or fourth time coming to look at it, because you initially came to stand and look at it, and you eventually just, you're just used to going in and getting help and wandering in. So you start to wander in, and this really kind of scruffy looking female dwarf guard just says, hold on a second there. What can I do for you? Come on, I ain't got all day. But if you're gonna
Sorry, I'm
choke,
so
go outside.
poor.
I don't want you puking on the floor here.
Sorry, I was just hoping to possibly get into the library. Is that like
Oh yeah, sure.
okay?
And you see it sort of look down and look up again. If you got the dough.
You mean people have to pay money to get in there?
Yeah, it's a library. What do you think? We lend books out for free? What kind of crazy talk is that? If you want in here, if you want to do some important research, because I can tell by the way you're dressed that you're an important kind of guy, you got to pay to come in. If not, just hold on, move aside for 1 second. Welcome. Feel free. The library shuts down at 6 p.m. today. Thank you. Can I? I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name.
Sorry, hang on, just 1 second. Did you just let them in? Did they pay?
They're regulars. We know they're going to be paying.
Well, that's strange. Well, like I'm not going to take anything. I just want to kind of have a poke around. Is that you're telling me that's going to be an issue?
No, you can have a poke around. Take all the time you want. Take a look. Great. Thank you very much. Listen, here's how it works. It's 10 gold pieces to come into the library, 15 to take out a book, but that's good for a whole day, 24 hours, 23 and a half, because there's a half-hour restocking fee, a half-hour restocking time, 23 and a half hours.
You've got to be kidding me. I don't think I've seen 10 gold pieces in my entire life, not together. I can't possibly.
Right. Okay. Thanks a lot. Listen, if you want free access to the library, it's easy. All you have to do is get over to that counter there and sign up. 4 years of service will get you all the access to the library you want.
4 years of service doing what?
Well, given the scope of your abilities, it might be shoveling out. It might be working in the sewer, but you got to start somewhere. You could be flushed with excitement. Flushed. You see what I did there?
I see it. It's a poor attempt at humor.
Oh, pardon me.
Is it not possible to like pay as I go? Can I not work as like some kind of in some capacity within the library?
Oh, yes, certainly. So to get to the employment area where you actually want to work inside the library. Oh well, yeah, that's a different thing. I'm sure they could help you. So what you do is you go around the side here. Down there, you go down about 97 feet, you turn left, there's 2 doors. One says do not enter, and one says enter. Go in the one that says do not enter, but go carefully because there might be somebody coming out. You don't want to get cracked in the head. So you go in the one that says do not enter. There's about a mile corridor. Oh, you have to come back and get a torch. I forgot about the torch because it's pitch dark in there. You go down the corridor and you get to the rooms. There'll be 3 rooms. Pick the right room, because they'll send you out if you pick the wrong room. And then once you get a job, you fill out an application. Can you write? Can you write? Can you read and write?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I speak 5 languages.
Yes, I didn't ask you what you spoke. I
Yes,
asked you if you read it or write it.
No, I understand that as well, and yes, I'm quite well versed in writing.
Excellent. So you go into one of those 3 rooms, you pick the right room, you apply for a job. What is your experience?
I'm a farmer, and
Oh, isn't that darling? That's darling. So go in the rooms, get a job, and while you're working, on your breaks, you can read.
yeah, all right, sure. I'll have a look around then. I'll go see you to that.
All right.
Thank you for your help.
All right. Thank you. Come again.
Okay, well, lovely. Cool.
So she turns around to help some more well-dressed people in and is leading them off in different directions and things. And she's, clanking along with her stuff. Now, watching this whole exchange is this young elf who has been toddling around the entrance because she had gotten bored. She had been up in the horn. She'd spent the day chasing fish and trying to learn their names. And now, to dry off, she was sitting in the corner. And you see, Paige, you see this young man. Man? We're going with man? Yes. We're going with, see this young man talk very earnestly to this guard who she's pretty grouchy and crotchety and has been working there. She's probably about 2 years past retirement. So you see this young man sort of look around a little bit disorganized and start to head out of the library.
I take a gold piece out of my pocket and I sort of dust it off, make it all nice and shiny, and I give it to my friend at the gate there. What's her name?
His name or the guard's name?
The dwarf. Her name.
Oh, the dwarf's name is Aquila.
Aquila, good morning. You're looking lovely today. It's nice to see you. I'll be right back. Excuse me, sir. Were you waiting for a delivery?
Sorry, are you talking to me?
The one I was waiting for. It's so good to see you here.
Oh.
Looking at that special collection, aren't you?
Yes, sorry, do I know you?
I take his hand and I march through the gate.
Yeah.
I say, Aquila, this one's with me. I can't believe you didn't recognize him. And I take him into the
Aquila's like, right. And then she's distracted with somebody else, so she's talking to somebody else. So you march him in, like literally dragging him in by the hand.
What's your name? My name's Paige. I live here. What's your name?
You live in the library.
Yes.
It's astounding. My name's Ripley. I just moved to BeaconHold. Haven't been here very long.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you have so much to see. I hear you want to see the library. It's amazing.
Yeah, I was just curious. I feel like this city's just astounding, and I feel like there's so much I can learn. What better than to start here? But it's all new to me. Wasn't sure about how I was going to get in here.
Well, you don't need to worry about Aquila. She's a bit of a shit. She likes to stop people at the gates and make sure they've got all the right credentials, but it's really boring, so don't worry about it.
I'm still standing right here. I can hear you.
Look at the gold I just gave you.
Right.
Do you want to see Orion's Horn? Shall we start?
Sure. What's Orion's Horn?
Come on, I'll show you.
Right. Now, Paige, one of the things you realize is that each area of the library will have a different sort of checkpoint They'll look at things just so that people aren't wandering around. Luckily, you have figured out some of the behind-the-scenes ways to get through the library, fire escapes, maintenance corridors, those kinds of things.
Well, all right, Ripley, was it? Here's how.
That's right.
You know, before when Akila was telling you all those directions that were really impossible to remember? I think now
Yes.
you're really going to have to try and remember, because I'm going to give you a bunch of really obscure directions
All
back
right. Yeah.
at Orion's Horn. So what you're going to want to do is hop out that window there, climb up the fire escape, scoot across the roof, and then you just jump in the second window down, and I'll meet you right there, okay? It's okay if I go through the gates, but I don't want to go through the whole rigmarole every time. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So through the fire escape and this.
Across the roof, second window down, right through there, and I'll meet you on the inside.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sounds good.
Cool.
All right, so when you get outside, the fire escape looks a little sketchy. So I'm going to have to, if you decide you want to climb it, you're going to need to do a dexterity check.
What kind of dexterity check? Acrobatics?
Yeah, let's do an acrobatics check.
I'm not with you.
Okay. An acrobat. Oh, yeah. Well, it's a 12.
That's what you rolled?
Yep.
All right. So as you sort of hike up this fire escape, it sways a little bit, but you grip tighter and you grab to the top. Now this thing, just as a point of reference, you see this particular tower, because it's part of the initial entrance, it probably goes up 100 stories. So it goes way the hell up there. Luckily, you don't have to go up that high. And you could see that this same little bar, and literally all it is a bar with iron grips, goes up 100 stories into the sky. So they're not as concerned about escaping fire as you might think. And although fire is a very, very serious thing, and it's not something that's usually allowed inside the library, obviously. And you get to this rooftop, and you see a row of, there's about, I would say there's about 100 windows on either side from where you are right now. So do you want to go to your left or to your right?
Oh, Can I look into some of these windows, see what's inside some of them?
Sure. So the windows are about 30 feet away across the rooftop, and you see a series of windows that run in every direction, or not every direction, but run to, like I said, to you, sort of the left and right.
Okay. What's in the second window to my left?
Second window to your left is the smiling face of Paige.
Oh, excellent. I'm gonna go in there.
Right.
Open the window. I help.
Yeah. Help him in. Now, just describe yourself, what you're wearing and what you're carrying, that kind of thing.
Right. So Ripley doesn't really. He's pretty humble. So his robe. He's just wearing a few. I don't know, some meager brown robes. I'm kind of picturing like a Jedi kind of thing,
right,
for him.
So very monk-like,
yeah.
Like looking monk-like.
Kind of. Yeah.
Right. And no armor.
No, I mean maybe that's something he can acquire later, but currently no.
Right. And what about you, Paige?
Oh, I'm just wearing a normal dress.
Okay.
A bit bit piecemeal. I've got a handkerchief hanging over here, and I wear some bows in my hair, and I've got, you know, some chains around my neck and some armbands on, and it's just bits and pieces, really.
Right. Cool. Cool. All right. So he follows you inside. Or the two of you are now standing inside this long hallway, and you can see that it stretches off almost out of sight down either direction. But you've been here before.
Sure. And how far are we from getting to, oh, let's say we wanted to go visit the woodlands?
You're probably about 1.5 kilometers, 1.5 miles.
All right.
So, and it's because you can't go there directly. Obviously, if you were going directly, it would be much easier. But you can't take the elevator up, so you do have to find sort of the back stairwells and the maintenance corridors and things.
Right. I'll show you all the best bits of the library.
Yep.
You've never been here before. I can't believe it. It's the whole
No.
BeaconHold exists, is having the library.
No. So sorry. Are we in the Aurelian Horn right now?
You are in the.
Still.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Why did you want to come inside?
Well, you know, I noticed some of the automatons out there. I've never seen anything like that in my life. I was really interested in it, in the work they were doing, and if it was possible that they've how they're controlled, how they're made. You see, my parents are humble farmers, and we've supported a village with our simple ways.
I think we're losing your camera.
I guess I'm just curious to see if there's anything that we could be doing better.
Oh, I understand. Well, are you a tinkerer?
No, not really. Unfortunately, I have no real experience
With tinkering.
In that regard.
And
in tinkering, yes.
And you don't have the money to just buy an ace outright?
No, and I'm not sure I know what an ace is.
Oh, it's an autonomous clockwork something. I can't never remember what it stands for.
Right. So just what you do remember is the autonomous clockwork entities are people. So they aren't for sale. It's all the various machines and additive things and tugging things that are different.
Hire one to come and work for you or something like that. Is that how it works or no?
Yes, they have actual machines. They have sort of robotic machines, but those are distinct from the actual people. So Dabney is a actual person,
Right.
whereas the machine that you would use to sort books really quickly is a machine. Consciousness. It comes down to consciousness.
Right. Well, I guess if you talk to an ace, you could try and convince them to come and work for you or something like that. I mean, they're pretty nice. They're a bit dull, if I'm going to be honest, but there's some good ones out there. I could introduce you to some.
Ripley, I'll just get you to roll me a 12-sider, please.
That's never good in a Kevin Cork game. That's never good.
It's a 9.
All right, the corridor remains empty.
We just keep walking down.
So yeah, you're walking and talking and...
Oh, do you have vision? Can you see? Is that all right? Are you okay?
Yeah, I can see pretty well. It doesn't really look that dark to me. Is it dark in here?
It's dim, but there's lots of windows, so it's not...
Okay.
Oh, although that's an interesting point. Maybe, Ripley, one of the things that you are starved for is fresh air. So that's something that you probably don't get a lot of access to.
Kevin, I also think we lost your camera, by the way.
Me?
No, Kevin.
Oh, yeah. I see that. Okay, let's see what I can do about that. All right. So we'll keep going. So the Oh, yeah, we did. All right. We'll skip me for now, camera-wise, until I get this up and humming again. The no, I never mind about that. Forget I said that. We won't have to worry about the outside because you were outside when you went across on the rooftop. It was just a separate aspect of the building. The yeah, so the stairs wind around. You end up now. You're at basically what would be the emergency exit for which area were we looking for? You're looking for the woodlands,
Yes.
the forest, the woodlands one, right? And so that is called Geldon's Grove, named after one of the famous natural science college professors. And he was one of the original gnomes that created. Oh, so the city was built originally by gnomes. It's about half gnomish and otherwise a scattering of races.
Right.
And let's see if I can get this camera up and humming again.
I tell all of that to Ripley, well, because Geldon was a gnome way back in the day, and I guess he was pretty important, and so he built this biodome, and it was named for him, and so that's why it's called Geldon's Grove.
Right.
But we're not there yet. You've got to go, well, we've got to sneak you in a little bit.
Right, yeah, I completely understand.
Sorry, it's distracting from why you came in here in the first place.
Right, yeah, I mean, mainly just information, like I said, anything that I can sort of do to help my parents out, to help my village, and I don't know, just help our farming venture a little bit more. I noticed there's not a lot of farming in the city, is there?
No.
Right. What do you do for produce?
Well, people trade it, and we've got the big biodomes. They can grow things there, and there's lots of research, and magic can make food sometimes too, I think, and people trade it in, I imagine. I've met lots of merchants coming in on the road, so...
So, Kyler, I'm just going to jump. Kyler, Dabney has talked you into doing your afternoon constitutional.
Oh, Dabney, I just got a big ticket item, Dabney. I don't want to do my laps.
It's not laps until you do a whole one. Until then, it's just lap. It's time.
Fine, all right, fine. Let's go, Dabney, fine.
I think this time we'll go down through Geldon's Grove, because that right now, it being the spring, there's lots of things in bloom, so it'll be good for your asthma.
Yeah, except the pollen. We have to. If you could bring my backup inhaler, that would be awesome. I have my personal one, obviously, but if you could get the one out of the special case, that would be great.
Special case, yes, the engraved one that you got as a gift from your mother.
Break the glass in case of emergency, kind of deal.
Yes. Oh, yeah, that sounds fine. I'll carry that. You walk. Let's go. And as he sort of trundles on, he slams into the back of this door that swings open in the wall of the thing, and he tips over on the back of his wheels, and these two people pop out of the door.
So this is Geldon's Grove. Remember, I was telling you this is where...
It's like, I'm being attacked. Alert the monitors. Alert the monitors.
Don't alert the monitors. I'm going to pick up Dabney.
So he's sort of on that single wheel, and he rocks back and forth, and he looks over at you two. Goes, I don't know why you attacked me with that door.
They didn't.
But I
Hi,
apologize.
Paige. Dabney, they didn't attack you. You walked in front of a door.
Hi, Kyla. Sorry, Dad. All right.
I think I'm fine. Can you check my nose? Is it dented?
Yeah, it looks like you have to do your constitutional. And I will cantrip mending on his nose.
Oh, careful, gentle. I'm delicate.
Kind of undents like a pop can.
Yeah, it goes back out.
Telescopic.
I think you're making it longer than it was before. Hi, Paige. I didn't realize you were attacking me. It's good to see you regardless.
Hello, sorry to attack you. I didn't mean to. This is
It wasn't
Ripley.
you, it was the door.
Um,
As usual.
hoping
That
to-
door and I have history.
Ripley was hoping to meet one of you, aces. So Ripley, Dabney, Ripley, here you go. That's all it is, really.
Wow. So you're some sort of automaton, or how exactly?
He looks over at Paige. He's not the brightest bulb in the pack, is he?
He's never been inside the library, Dabney. Be nice to him.
Yeah, what Dabney is actually is a bore, a snore, and a big dork, because he's trying to make you my constitutionals.
Oh, not your constitutionals.
Hey, you have no idea. What came across my classifier desk, there's a train. It's a tiny train, and its arcane battery is run out, but the music is still going. That's like the biggest ticket item I've gotten so far.
Somebody hit me with a door.
Dabney, take Kyler out for his constitutional. I promise I'll give him a good one. Why don't you go back?
Oh, yes, that's good. My wheel is turned around far too much today. I think I might have a crick in it. Crick in my
Dabney,
wheel.
We always talk about how frail I am, Dabney, but you might be more delicate than I am.
I am definitely more delicate than you are. I am 40 years old.
I'm 45.
We'll just play that game again, do we?
If we have to.
All right. I'll expect you back at 11:45 for high tea. Ripley, I'm sure it's very nice for you to meet me. Paige, good seeing you. And he and then you hear sploot. Oh, fall into the canal. Then
He's asked me to oil him like 10 times, and I won't.
Okay. So now the three of you are standing on the very edge of Gelden's Grove.
I'm sorry. Are we still indoors?
Oh.
How is there?
Yeah.
How is there so much greenery in here?
And you look up, and it's probably like a 200-foot ceiling, and there's monstrous trees. You see poplars, you see evergreens. Basically, yeah, it's basically all of the things that you grew up with, Ripley. There's not much in terms of actual open field because it's a forested area, but there's a stream running through the middle of it. There's, it's a wholly artificial, natural world.
Yeah, this indoors is better than the outdoors. That's what Mom says.
That's probably not true.
Got lots of them here. There's like the woodlands. That's this one here. There's the jungle. There's the underwater one. I really like going there. Lots of places to explore. It's a library, not just books, you know.
I'm absolutely astounded. Do people grow crops in here?
Do people grow crops in here?
People do not grow crops in here. There are some experimental crops growing in the meadowlands there, so they can improve the grain or improve the flowers and things. But this is left mostly wild. It's very tended, but it's designed to be very wild.
I mean, it's just a lot of experiments running, masquerading as a natural forest. You know, over there, that's what Amy, she's working on testing the sap off of that kind of tree or something like that. And if you go and check in the Arctic one, there's this work that Thomas is doing about the snow falling down, and he's trying to make it fall up. I don't really understand. But mostly they're just nice places to walk around.
Ripley, did you pay for the entrance fee without knowing what this place was? That's pretty brave.
Oh, I actually couldn't afford the entrance fee. Paige got me in.
Oh, yeah, she does that quite a bit.
I just thought that he should see it.
Hey, listen, as long as Dabney isn't here, I don't care.
Akila was working the door and she was being so rude. And I just thought, Who cares if somebody comes in and sees the library? It's amazing.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to be around Aquila because she smells like cigarette smoke.
I know.
Says cloves.
You're up in the distance. It's a pipe. I told you and told you.
Nah, pipes are metal, Aquila. That's all right.
The other thing that you would see, Ripley, is that most of it, the outer walls are all glass, so you can tell you're 200 or 300 feet in the air, so you can see the crops, the ruined croplands. You can see the mountains, the forests, and things all out ahead of spread around in all directions.
So what do you want?
I haven't seen the outside since I've been in here, since I came to BeaconHold. It doesn't look too great out there.
On the other side of the wall.
Yeah. Seems like a lot of wanton destruction.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of the aftermath of the war.
Have you guys ever been on the other side?
No. No, I could never. It's just what Linda says. I couldn't. How does she put it? I would shrivel up like a tiny raisin.
I don't think that's true, Kyla.
I don't know. She's pretty smart.
Are you? So you're from the outside of BeaconHold?
That's right. Yeah, we were in a small village. I wonder if I could almost see it from here. Yeah, it's that one smoldering ruin. It's that little smoldering patch of land that you see over there. That was my village.
Oh, that's that's Hounsville.
That's right. Yeah.
Day after day.
That's right. It's insane that they keep re-upping the flames.
Well, yeah. That's where I grew up. You see, the war kind of forced us to leave the land, and we had to move into BeaconHold and take refuge here.
Ah, well, that turned out all right then. BeaconHold's pretty great.
Yeah, it's not too bad. There seems to be a strange obsession with wealth here. I've never really seen that before.
Kyler kind of goes stone face. I've never really talked about wealth.
Like, honestly, Ripley, if you look in the right direction, yeah. But there's lots of refugees around, and there's lots of people who are just here to work. There's shopkeepers, and there's barkeeps, and there's custodians. There's all sorts of people here. It's not all snobs like Kyla.
Yeah, everybody has a robot.
You hear this sort of low chuckle from behind you, and you see this young woman. She's has really short hair. She seems to have a metallic eye, and she's just leaning up against the wall. And she says, "Yeah, this not everybody has a robot. Not everybody has that special item." She looks sort of directly at Paige.
Oh, you mean my train? I know. The music is still going, but the battery is dead.
She glances at Kyler a minute. And she goes, Paige, I know we've taken the wrong approach with you before. So maybe what we can give you instead is, how about something to help out Ripley? Ripley and his whole village.
I'm
What
sorry.
do you need? Ripley, do you need some farming machines to re-till the soil and replant and regrow your village? Is that what you need, Ripley?
I mean, that would be lovely, but I don't believe I've actually met you before. Sorry, who are you?
My name is the Shadow.
Have I Is there a rumor around about the shadow? Like, is there a myth about the shadow?
No, you've never heard of the shadow.
Okay, but what's your real name? Because sometimes I call my robot Dabbers, but that's not actually like his serial number.
What my real name is isn't really of importance. What is important is that map.
And
Looks
my train.
Back into the hallway we were in before. I try and get out. I want to go to the door. I don't know if it opens this way.
so you heading back to the fire escape, and the shadow goes, Paige, no one's going to hassle you if you just turn over that map. Paige.
I'm sorry. What exactly is he talking about? Does he want something from you?
Oh, Ripley, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have brought you here. I'm sorry. This is not your fault. Ripley,
So
you should just go. Don't worry about it. Just pretend you never met me and just go and enjoy the library. It's really nice. Have a good time. Kyla, do you want to go see your mum?
Yeah, sorry, Mr. Shadow, I should just clarify, just in case this is like a point of confusion. The map isn't actually like library property, so it's not like public access. It's more so just pages. I understand the confusion on that. Anyway, yeah, let's go to my mom. Kevin, I think your mic is conked out.
there we go. So as she reaches into her pouch and she pulls out these two 1-inch square metallic cubes, she goes, I'd hoped we were able to avoid this, but I see that you're just not listening. And she tosses them down on the ground, and they both start to grow and snap and change and stuff. One of them sort of stirs up into this large boar type creature with the metallic tusks and these sort of blood red glowing eyes, and the other one leans into this sort of twisted bear creature that's quite skinny and scrawny and more sort of skeletal. And they both start to walk towards you guys at a pretty good clip. And the shadow says, I'll call them off as soon as I have that map.
Well, it's not even here and it's not even yours, so no.
Everybody roll for me initiative.
Woo. Oh, yikers. That'll be a 10 for Kyler, which makes sense.
So is that a 9? No, he doesn't have minus dex.
No, I don't have minus every skill. Just the one that decides whether I live or die.
Of course, yeah. Ripley?
A 14.
A 14. Paige?
9.
9. All right, so these two beasts leap to attack. One of them is going at Ripley, and one of them is going at Paige. We'll say the boar is on Paige, and the bear-type skeletal bear creature, robotic creature, is on Ripley. So the first one gets Ripley, what's your armor class?
It's a 10.
10? Okay. All right. And so what happens is this bear thing, you don't even realize it's moving, and all of a sudden it's there scratching at you and trying to grab you, and you take 2 points of damage from being scratched from these metallic claws.
Oh. Ow.
Ripley, no, I'm sorry.
And this boar, now, Paige, this boar just comes charging towards you. And just at the last minute, you're able to move out of the way, and this thing comes shooting past you, but is turning around to come right back again. So the boar has missed you. The bear has sort of jumped on Ripley and is sort of tearing at his robes and his cloak. And we are at Ripley. What are you doing?
Oh, goodness. Can I hide?
And yeah, Sure, you could try to hide. You could just roll me a d20. No, you fail. You're right there. The bear's right on you. But I wanted you to feel like you could try.
Um, I don't even think I don't. I realize I don't think I've actually put together any weapons for Ripley.
Yeah, a 10 AC, because you're a cleric, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 10 AC, I think there's some armor that needs to be equipped.
You're 1 minute old, so yeah, fair.
All right, so you're scrabbling backwards. You're scrabbling backwards, and you see sort of right beside you this big heavy stick left over from a tree. So you can grab that stick up and do something if you want with that.
Sure. I'm gonna try and go for the eyes on this bear.
Ooh, okay.
For the eyes.
Go for the eyes.
I rolled a 20.
Okay.
Woo! Ripley
Okay.
came to play.
Yeah.
There it is.
All right. So the way I do critical hits, obviously when we get into the game, we'll have different things. But the way I do it right now is it's your maximum damage plus what you roll. So we'll say this is the equivalent of a staff, which is 8 points of damage, plus the whatever you roll on the d8.
Oh, I see. 8 plus 2, 10.
All right. And do you have a strength bonus to attach to that?
His strength. No, he does. No, he has a. Nope, his strength is -1. So.
Mine too. We're gonna win.
So
I'm the
that's
strongest person here.
This is a 9. Then is what you're saying.
Yeah.
All right.
Mass, Kyler. You're just solid.
Yeah, my center of gravity's real low.
All right. So you wail on you just grab this thing, you're out, and you just sort of shrink it, and you go and you knock it to the side, and you see the jaw and they go click, and it hangs down, and it swings its head back, and one of its eyes is now cracked and dark, but the other eye glows an even redder, and it makes this. Well, actually, it's totally silent except for the click, 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 click sounds of its metallic shapes as it heads towards you. Kyler.
So have the two animals kind of attacked my two companions, and they've like split off from me?
Yeah, they're probably about 15 feet apart between the two of them.
Okay, great. So I'm going to move back my 25 feet.
Okay.
Because that's my first order of business, should be always. And I'm going to open my spell book, and I'm going to just do a little bit of research and go, yeah, I don't think these guys are like natural to this ecosystem. And then 3 paper airplanes are going to come out of my book, and 2 will fire at the bear, and 1 will fire at the boar as I cast magic missile.
All right. Nice. Paper airplanes of death.
So that'll be 6 damage to the bear and 4 damage to the boar of force damage.
All right. So you see this paper airplane fly, and it goes clinking into the thing, and it makes this really sort of weird sort of electrical stuff down the bear, and the bear's eyes darken out, and it just tips forward rigidly.
If I was a more clever character, I would say you couldn't bear it. Fuck.
You did good.
Right. Paige. The bear seems to be deactivated.
Ripley, are you okay?
Just doing just fine. Just a little shook up is all. Never seen a mechanical bear attack me.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
That makes 3 of us. Okay. Well, the boar is about to turn around and come back, yeah?
He is.
I'm gonna look at it. I'm fucking scared, and I'm gonna cast Entangle on the ground underneath it, and you'll see vines just reach up and try and spin around his legs and try and hold him in place so he stays there.
Right. And he makes a save for that on what again?
Strength save.
A strength save.
13.
oh, the boar comes whippling around, and it's you see one of its legs gets grabbed by some grass, and then as it's going by this bush, another bush sort of wraps around its two legs on that side, and pretty soon this huffing sort of steam snorting creature is like held in place as it's reaching forward like a boar terminator trying to get at you.
I turn around and I look at the shadow and I say, "Where did you even come from?"
And Shadow, she looks at you, and you see her sort of pull out a dagger and start to walk towards you.
I reach down, and with my bonus action, I'm going to cast Magic Stone on 3 pebbles that I...
Okay.
It's like this.
Yep.
And they're ready if I need them.
Yep. All right. So
Okay.
we are back to the top of the round. Shadow, what's your dex? Sorry, Paige, what's your dex?
My just straight dex modifier, or?
No, just your dex, because she got the same roll as you did. So just to see who goes first.
17.
All right. So you will be before her. Cool. All right. Let's start with Ripley.
Goodness. Is that bear still like on top of me?
He does not seem to be functioning. He's definitely tipped forward, but it's just gone rigid.
Okay. And is the boar still in action?
The boar is still active and moving. Active and active. It's just not moving because it's stuck in the grass. It seems to be stuck ground up in the grass.
All right. I'll take a free shot at it then.
Okay. Excellent.
Same thing. Gonna go for the eyes.
Yeah, may as well.
I rolled a 3, so it's not great. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're just still figuring out the weight of your new club, your new staff. So you're still just getting that all worked out. All right, Kyle.
It's Kyler.
Oh,
and
Kyler.
I'm gonna turn to the shadow.
Yep.
I'm gonna have my inhaler. I'm gonna go. If you want to take out magic items, you have to take it up with the classifiers. And on my second exhale, a firebolt comes out of my mouth and flies at the shadow.
Okay, excellent.
And but that's only a 10 to hit.
That misses.
So I'm gonna inhale and go, and then and just shoot it right into the ground.
Right. So she kind of looks at you. You see the metallic eye sort of changes and shapes and looks at you, and she turns to, realizing that you're a wizard. She turns to start to walk to you.
Yeah,
right.
Let's dance.
Paige, you are up.
I throw a magic stone at her.
All right, rock and roll.
Oh, bloody hell, I rolled a natural 1.
Okay, so for the roll of the natural 1, you're just so panicked. You just don't know what's going on, and you panic and you throw the rock, and you were watching what Ripley's doing, and you bean Ripley. So what was the damage?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, it's just 1 damage. It wasn't even a good throw.
Okay, that's good. That makes sense.
So you're sitting there trying to hit, and that's why you couldn't hit that boar, because as you go swing on the boar, all of a sudden you get a rock in the side of the head.
It's 4 damage.
Ow.
Oh, 4 damage.
Oh, goodness.
No.
I can do. So you see, you want a friend like me.
All right. And this shadow, she chucks a dagger. And what is Kyler's armor class?
Kyle's armor class is 11.
All right. Well, that misses.
Oh, very nice.
Let's double check that. Yep. So she misses with her dagger. So she just pulls out a short sword and keeps advancing on you. And the boar is going to try to break free of the. Oh no, he's wrapped up even tighter now. All right, Ripley, it's up to you. Well, not up to you. It's you. You are up.
I have been consulting the player's handbook, and I realized that as a cleric, I actually do know Sacred Flame. So I'm gonna try and do a little thunder, little firebolt at the shadow.
Okay.
Wait, what am I supposed to do for that? Right, you make a dex saving throw, or a dex throw. Yeah.
A dex saving throw. And she gets a 10. So what's your DC?
Bet you it's higher than 10.
It probably is. Because your wisdom's pretty high, right?
Yeah.
Woo!
12.
All right.
No.
So what
For what?
kind of damage do you do to her?
So 1d8.
I think it's radiant.
Yep, 1d8 radiant damage. Which will be 3.
All right. So she.
What does your flame look like?
Yes.
Yeah, it's this brilliant white flame that kind of shoots out my finger. Only
good.
when I'm angry.
Right.
You're not supposed to shoot fire in here, but that was awesome.
Yep.
I'm sorry. It's
All
still
right.
so much for me to learn.
Kyler's still stomping on the firebolt he shot into the grass.
Right.
Oh, yeah, no fire.
All right, Kyler.
Kyler's going to be, slowly backing away from the shadow. He's going to take out a spellbook again and go, no, just power. And I'm going to exhale into my spellbook, and I'm going to do 3 paper airplanes again that will fire right at the shadow.
Oh.
In my second casting of Magic Missile. Because there's a lady with a knife. Oh, rough though. That's only 7 damage.
7 damage. So what happens as each paper airplane hits, you see it blows off a layer of skin, and you see like a metallic exoskeleton underneath the shadow.
Ripley!
Yeah, yep.
That's another ace, I think. This is an ace. Cool. Okay.
Okay, yeah, I'm only very vaguely familiar with them, but I can see that.
Right. So you see this like black skeleton, a skeletal leg. She still has what looks like a human leg, but half of her face is blasted away.
Man, pretty dope.
Yeah. You can see that she's staggered, and she's turning around, and she's starting to sort of hobble over towards the emergency exit.
No, that's my hallway.
Okay, Paige, it's up to you.
I throw a stone at the back of her head.
Okay.
Oh, that's pretty good. That one is. That's 22 to hit.
Oh, that hits her.
Oh, pretty good damage. 8 points of damage, bludgeoning damage.
Oh, so you see this magic stone go whistling at a high speed through the air, and it goes busting through her forehead, and you see this as her metallic, well, actually no, as her human brain gets blown out of the front of her forehead, and she just drops like a mannequin straight face down.
See, Ripley, outside of BeaconHold, that happens all the time, my mom says.
I mean, I've never actually seen someone die before.
Yeah, this is...
Yeah.
Yeah, Lydia didn't even.
I think that's right. So there's this silence where the boar pauses. And all three of you are pausing, and this is the first death anyone has ever experienced.
Yeah, Lydia kind of covered my eyes when Gam Gam died. So this is.
Yeah.
She was going to kill us.
That's right. She did throw a knife at, I think, most of us.
It's true.
After us. So
Right. How is the boar? Is the boar still going?
The boar is still going, but it can't get itself out of that. It's wrapped up, and now you can see it's like starting to shake because it's just trying so hard to get out of this grass. It's always hated grass. How long does that entangle spell last?
in it, as long as I'm concentrating.
All right. So you got 7 more rounds of concentration, even though you were distracted by the death, but we won't make that a game mechanic thing.
I have 1 more stone.
Yep.
Oh, no.
Well, I don't know. You guys, what do we do? We could kill it. It's just...
You hear the gears grinding. It's...
I'd throw the stone, I think.
Yeah.
Okay,
but it is Ripley's turn.
Right.
God,
you can totally throw this stone.
I mean, yeah, no, that's a good point. But have we tried talking to it? Does it respond to?
Go ahead.
Okay. So I walk up to it like cautiously. I'm like,
Okay, so it's gnashing at you to try to get at you, like it's swinging its tusks as it's trying to get at you.
Right, you're clearly very angry, but can I ask you, why exactly are you doing this? Were you just working for the shadow person?
Doesn't have much to say to you.
Stick.
Okay.
Get that big stick.
So that is your conversation. Is your turn?
Sure. I'll say it is.
All right. Kyler.
I'm gonna slowly raise my inhaler to my mouth and kind of hold it for a second and kind of look at Paige. And then I'm going to exhale a firebolt at the boar. That'll be 21 to hit.
That hits the boar.
For 6 fire damage.
All right, so you see this firebolt sort of lance right into the sort of metallic chest of this thing, and you see sort of smoke starting to pour up from cracks inside its body. And the grinding inside gets a little broken and higher pitched, but it's still moving towards you, or trying to move towards you.
Just stop screeching. Stop it. Is it my turn?
It is your turn.
Stop it. And I throw the rock at it. Just shut up. It's an 18 to hit.
That hits it.
7 points of damage.
All right, so this amazing stone she's just picked up off the ground goes slicing into this thing, and you hear it go bung 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 inside, rattling around inside, and this thing sort of and its legs pull in, and it half contracts back into the cube from what it was, and it's lying there sort of half retracted and inert.
Hey, this might be crazy. Would anybody mind if I took this boar cube? I really think I could impress my boss if I classified, I don't know.
Yeah, you should totally take all these things.
The bear, I think, is still a bear, and I'm not that strong. But the boar half cube, I could maybe lug, or I could get Dabney to take it.
I turn to Ripley and I'm like, so this is BeaconHold?
Yeah. Should we go try the next biosphere and see what happens?
I mean, I wouldn't say it's always like this. Lately, a little bit, especially around me. I'm not sure. But it's kind of cool. Lots of things happen here.
Should we? I don't know if this is my place, Paige, but maybe we should tell Ripley why he just got attacked, in case he wants to know.
Yeah, I mean, I am curious. Was it because I didn't pay the entrance fee?
I mean, if Paige is usually pretty good at sneaking people in, but they do take that thing kind of seriously. Yeah, for sure.
Ripley, can you just roll me a perception check, please?
God damn it. 4 boars come out of the bush.
It's not good.
Oh, the anticipation.
It's 11.
Okay.
11. For 11,
Oh, no.
you just hear the emergency door click shut.
The emergency door.
Guys, is someone else in here with us still?
So many people.
Yeah, so somebody was observing and has gone back into the emergency hallway. That's what you guys can figure out.
Kyler, are you okay? You got one more run in you? I know you've only done half a lap today.
Well, I've exhaled some fire recently, so I'm at least pumped. Like, I'm psyched to go, for sure. We'll see how long that lasts. It's kind of like a second or third wind.
Sure, don't overuse your inhaler. That's bad for you.
Yeah. Well, Dad was supposed to bring the backup one. He fell when he got hit by a door, so I'm going to make fun of him for that later. Let's go!
Okay. Ripley, I'll tell you about it later, but for now, do you want to go and see what's going on down this hallway?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure, why not?
Okay. I go first.
I follow.
I peek around the door.
I think your mic's off, Ken.
Oh, Kevin, you're describing something great.
Oh. All right, so the hallway stretches off like 150 feet in both directions, but there is no one there. It's silent like the grave.
Can I do another perception check?
Yep.
That's a 16.
It's silent like a specific graveyard that you grew up with near your home.
Can I'm going to cast a prestidigitation.
Yes.
And just do like a faint alarm sound. Just to see if I can drive some people out of some rooms. It can't be loud. Right. So it's just faint.
Right. You hear the faint sound of one of the sort of usual alarm sounds, but this hallway there's no doors in this room that you can see.
Is it dark?
It's dim. It's not lit, but it's daylight, so there's still sort of residual light.
Are there things to light it that are out currently?
No.
Okay.
No. Really, what it is it's literally just the escape area for the back of Gelden's Grove. So it's really just a long hallway. You see some support struts. You see some piping. There's a small window at the top at the end of the hallway, but that's probably 200 feet down. That's where you would have come up. That's the stairs down. But yeah, there is literally no one here.
Let's just go.
Yeah, it might be best.
Let's just go and find Susan or somebody, or tell your mum or something. Ripley, this has been happening to me a lot lately, and it's well, it's terrifying, needless to say, and I don't know what to do about it. So, I thought maybe bringing a stranger in would be a fun distraction, but it's been kind of shitty, and I'm sorry that you're a part of it. I don't know what to do. We should just go and tell somebody. Show them these boxes and the shadow? What is that?
Right. Can I go? In fact, yeah. Just humor me for a second. I'm going to go back into the forest lands sphere.
Yeah, the bear and the shadow are not there.
Is the boar? But I still have the boar. Yeah.
Yes, you have the broken boar. It's sort of heavy because it's half boar, half cube in your hand, but the other two have gone.
Right. So I was going to check out the shadow's body. That would have been smart of us. All right. I think we should take this board to Janine. Sorry, Ripley. Janine's my stepmom. She's like one of the higher classifiers. She can maybe tell us, like, where this originated, what its purpose is, maybe who made it, maybe what its activation is, that kind of stuff.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. She works in the library.
She does. So, I don't mean to be a wiener about this, but we should maybe make up a reason why you're here. Just because some of the library staff get a little sensitive. I don't care, but Janine's pretty rough and tumble, so just make sure that we have a good, solid story on that.
Sure.
Yeah, because I heard that he knew something about my map.
I think that's pretty great.
That's great. What is this map you keep mentioning?
Right.
So where are you guys right this second? You're standing over where the shadow was?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Ripley, it's this thing that I found on my birthday. It's, I don't even know. I take it out and I show it to him. And
given what just happened, I'm going to be looking around.
All right.
I know all this.
So it's just this, it's a map or something. It's or a drawing, or I don't really know even what it is. Nobody makes sense of it, but somebody wants it, and suddenly I'm in trouble and people are chasing me and all these places. I don't know. I'm sorry.
You mean to tell me you've been attacked before?
Yeah, like at least, Kyla, 3 times at this point?
Yeah, like sometimes it's been pretty like physical, like you had the big beastie thing, and then this one, and sometimes it's been like weird verbal threats. So I'd say like 2 physical, 3 just angry people.
As you guys are talking, you see off in the distance across the room, across the glen, a glow beginning. There's a low, sort of warm yellow glow happening probably it's on the other side of the stream, probably about 100 feet away.
Can I do an Arcana check on it?
Arcana? Yep.
16.
It's definitely not a natural occurring light, so it looks like some sort of magical light for sure.
Like, is it? I guess what I was trying to determine is like, is there like a beginning? Is like the beginning of a spell that I have heard about?
No, in fact, it was very slowly getting brighter. Like it was barely noticeable, and now it's become quite bright. And what you do notice, though, Paige, is it's in that little glen that you have, or that little area that you have been sort of hanging out in and sleeping in every once in a while.
Hey, that's my hangout.
Yes, exactly.
Wait, is Thomas still doing those experiments about the artificial lighting and growing the plants? Do you know if he's still doing that, or is that wrapped up?
As far as you know, he's not wrapped up that yet. Not finished that up.
Well, I'll go see if it's Thomas, but I don't want anybody messing up my glade.
All right. And you two, what are you doing?
I mean, I promised Dabney that I would get in my calisthenics, so I'll follow.
Okay.
I know for a fact, he snuck a step counter on me.
Yeah, I'll follow along too.
All right. So as you go, as you get closer to the glade, you see this small man hanging out in that hammock that you've rigged up. And he's just leaning back, smoking a pipe. And he's got this sort of wide belt, and he's wearing mostly sort of a vibrant green color. And he's just sitting there, swinging his legs. He's tiny.
I'm gonna stay back about 60 feet if he's smoking a pipe.
Okay. Yep.
Hello?
And he looks over and he says, "Oh, you're Paige, aren't you?"
That's what they've named me, yes.
Well, that's grand. That's just grand. Ed Ripley, here you are. I've been looking for you. I was down taking tech of you in the dungeon down there, but I couldn't find you. And now here you are, large as life. My God, look at you.
I'm sorry, have we met before?
Well, of course we've met before. Well, you may not have met me, but I seen you every day, just like I saw your parents.
I am going to attempt to hide.
Okay.
Because I'm naturally stealthy, so I can attempt to hide even if I'm just naturally obscured only by a creature that is one size larger than you, so I can hide pretty good. So let me try and hide.
Sure. You're a halfling.
I only got a 12, though. On a halfling, I'm not necessarily dexterous.
That's right. So as you sort of deke into these trees and things, you just one foot sort of slips out.
Just hear the inhaler.
Yeah. And so he's happy. He's puffing away. So, Ripley, how did you and your folks get here anyway? That's what I'm curious about. That's what I want to know. And now I see you've linked up with the Nexus. Well, God bless you. That's Lord love a duck.
I have so many questions. Why? What does the Lord have to do with the duck? And what's a nexus?
Well, she's standing there right beside you, looking like a looking like a field of clover. Oh, Lord is suffering. She's Paige. Paige is the Nexus.
Get out of my
Telling you.
you.
I'm sorry, I missed that.
Get out of my hammock. Who
Sorry, I'm sorry. So he stands up and he's like 2.5 feet tall, got this little beard. He's standing there grinning away. I know. You're right, speechless, aren't you? I can tell. Listen, here's what I'm here to say. Your mater doesn't know how you found him, how your parents found him. But we're here to back you up. We're here to help you when you need it. So anytime you need assistance, you call on me. My name's McLaughlin.
McLaughlin. And you say you're familiar with Ilmater?
Oh, I'm one of his top lieutenants.
Oh, wow. That's astounding. I've never actually met someone who could talk to me about him before.
Wait a minute. Are you just saying nonsense words? Who's Ilmater?
Ilmatalas, well, she, whoever you want, she's one of the grandest gods you'll ever meet. A deity of deific proportions.
I'm still curious as to why you called her a nexus. What exactly is a nexus?
Curious about that as well.
Well, a nexus, if you haven't discovered it yet, you will soon. But trust me, Paige, you're vital. You're vital. And Ripley here is vital. Oh, and Kyler! Look at him hiding like the dickens. Kyler, you sneaky puss. Yes, you're vital as well. We need all three of you, I think.
What am I What am I called?
You're called
What's-
Kyler. You're called Kyler Bibtick.
Right.
Check your
No.
tag. Your mother put it in the back of your clothes.
I've sewn it on there a couple times. I'm just like, if Paige is called the Nexus, do me and Ripley have? Listen, I'm all about classifying things. Okay, so I'm just wondering if we have like an official name.
Oh, sure. Yeah. You're the toadstool of destiny, and Ripley is the heartstring of the ox.
That's
I'm just fucking with you.
Yeah.
You don't have a name. Not that I know of anyway. Although your mother's very proud of you. I can tell you that for sure.
Are you
I'm-
connected to the shadow?
No, I'm not connected to the shadow. I sometimes move in the shadows like a whisper of a leaf in the wind. But that part of my life's over. Now I'm here to help you guys get the things you need to get done. Right?
Can I check this person? Who is this person? Bloody fool showed up in my glade.
He stands up and he twirls around. Yes, you can inspect me to your heart's desire.
Sure. It's a natural 20 for a 23. Tell me everything about yourself.
Nice.
Oh, you got me.
Here are my true intentions.
Yep. You're right. I feel this. I feel this urge to like spill the whole thing. What you can sense about McLaughlin is that he is definitely some sort of angelic creature.
Celestial.
Celestial creature. Yes, thank you. It's celestial is the word I was looking for.
But we don't have any people like that here. Is he? McLaughlin, are you actually here, or is this some sort of jiggery-pokery?
Well, here's the thing. I'm here, but I'm also across the cosmos at another place as well. So I'm several places at once. And trust me, when you lose yourself that way, you're lost.
Do I know about McLachlan or Ilmater in my studies?
You do not.
Oh, man.
And it's McLaughlin. Like
Oh, that's-
clock,
Oh, McLachlan.
not clack.
So are you like time-based? Do you indulge in chronomancy then? Is that what I'm picking up on?
I have enjoyed a little bit of chronomancy in my time. See what I did there? That was pretty good.
Right.
Nah, I'm not from the future. I'm not from the past. I'm from the present.
I look over at these two and I'm like, that's the stupidest sentence I've ever heard.
Yeah, I think we're all from the present.
Well, you were the one asking about time travel, were you not?
Okay, my friend Ripley here, I just
Yes.
maybe 15, 20 minutes ago, and you're telling me that we're supposed to be here to meet you in some sort of...
Yeah. Right. Now, well, here's the thing. I got about 6 dozen things to do that are more important than you before breakfast. So I wouldn't say it's destined. I'd say that it's opportune. Yeah.
Sure. Okay.
All right. Well, what exactly is it that you want from us? Why are you talking to us exactly?
Ripley, I've been sent by Amelia to send you a message. What he wants you to do is to do whatever your heart tells you to do going forward. You see what I mean?
Okay. I'm sorry. You've talked to Ilmater.
Yeah. I am sent by il mater, oh, can't do that action, il mater, to get you to move ahead on your path.
So basically, you've been sent by a god to tell us to just keep going, keep doing it. You've been doing great. Keep going.
Yeah, here's to you. 3 cheers and all that. Life's great. Oh, and also this. And he reaches up and he just sort of taps his finger on each of your foreheads. Goes, there, I want you all to feel like you're progressing.
Oh, you did not sanitize.
I will check in on you later. And he disappears.
Can I do a quick everything, Arcana, medicine, nature on what is now going with me?
Yes, you can do a complete self-check.
Do a medical check on Kyler to make sure he's okay.
Yep, everything looks fine. The only thing that's changed is, Kyler, those spells that had left your brain, you suddenly have a remembrance of how to do that spell one more time. Ripley, Paige, same thing. The amount of spells you had in your brain are now increased slightly. But more importantly, you've all reached your 2nd level of development and awareness.
Wow.
I turn into a squirrel.
Well, that is something. You see a squirrel off in the distance, and you are looking, and you lock eyes with that squirrel, and you realize that you know so much, and you're so interested, and you get sort of locked and concentrated on that squirrel, and you two are watching Paige, and all of a sudden, she just slowly shrinks, morphs, changes, and there is a squirrel standing there.
Oh, holy crap. What in the world?
Yeah, that actually kind of tracks. I do kind of get where that was going, for sure. If any one of us three was going to turn into an animal, I think it would be Paige.
And Paige, as you turn into this squirrel, all of a sudden you look up at these 2 humans that are moving and talking so slow, and you can hear so many things, and you can smell so many things, and the world is this rainbow of smells and sounds, and there's just everything is happening all in the distance, and you see that there's this old crotchety squirrel chittering away at you in an angry voice that you didn't realize was angry until now all of a sudden you're a squirrel.
Turn back into an elf.
Right. So you re-pop into place, and you feel the sort of fluidity of your body as there's the images of animals, of bears and boars and squirrels and cats and dogs and rats all through your body. And you sort of sit down because you're a little bit faint, but you feel this sort of power surge inside you. And I think, Ripley, you would have the same kind of feeling. You would feel the leftover light from McLaughlin, from this golden light that shone off him. And you feel a little bit more powerful, a little bit stronger. So you all get your next level of hit points and your next level of spells. And
Yeah.
the second level is divination, is when you choose your divination.
I'm going to, I think it was pretty silly what he said about not living in the past or the future, but he lives in the present, because all of those things kind of exist simultaneously. And I think that'll be my next research topic.
There we go.
Proving and looking at all the different possibilities and concurrent events that happen all at once, and how I can restructure the next event if I choose an event that is satisfactory to me.
Excellent. And Ripley,
I kept getting a brain twitch.
Yeah, that's right. But no, you get a glimpse of what is possible. For the first time in your life, you're realizing that there are other things that are happening around you, Kyler.
I'm thinking about how this whole thing would have played out if Dabney didn't get hit by the door. Would he have been around? Would he have done something? Would the 3 clockwork things that attacked us not attack us? Man, I start bleeding out of one ear.
There you go. And then you notice the blood and faint.
Yeah.
All right. So you have your new hit points. Ripley, this is I'm sorry, I don't remember what happens with clerics on second level. Is that where you get your domain, or do you start with your domain?
I started with my domain. From what I understand, I don't think the second level.
I think second level is channel. You get your channel divinity.
Oh yes, channel
So
divinity.
the whole McLaughlin looking after you kind of plays into that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when McLaughlin disappeared, you felt the power and the warmth of him for a moment inside you before it dissipated in the shock of watching Paige turn into a squirrel. And I think we will hold it there because we've generated all sorts of new things.
Yeah.
Excellent work, people.
This is weird.